Hello, everyone. Welcome back to Kevin Reviews. I just recently saw Fantastic Four: The First Steps. This is directed by Matt Jackman, and it stars Pedro Pascal, Vanessa Kirby, Ebon Moss Bachrach. I hope I'm pronouncing that correctly. Joseph Quinn, Ralph Ineson, and Julia Gardner. Okay, so first things first. Before I go into the review, um, in regards because this is part of the MCU. I feel like I need to bring this up a couple things. If you're wondering first, first you're wondering maybe you're wondering, have I seen the other Fantastic Four movies? I've seen and that's Bart complaining. I have seen the 2000s Fantastic Four. Um, and yeah, they're not good. Most of the Fantastic Four movies before this are not good. Um, and also in regard to the MCU, I have not kept up with the MCU. I've kind of heard, follow it, but I mean, the last film I saw, I think I would technically count mostly is Spider-Man: Far From Home. So anything after that, I have not seen because of the pandemic. I wasn't wanting to like get Disney Plus to subscription to see all the to see the movies or TV show, and plus I had other stuff, subscriptions and whatnot, so I didn't really want to. Um, so, and then I mean, I think the last Marvel movie, which I'm not sure was it will count, it does count, but it's Deadpool, Deadpool and Wolverine. So I mean, that's the last Marvel movie I saw. But I mean, throughout the pandemic, I haven't not catched up on any of them. I do have a majority of the Marvel Cinematic Universe, including the ones after, and this is on my physical media. So I do eventually get planned to do that, but I kind of want to do. I don't know. I don't know how I'm going to do exactly, but I kind of like to start like kind of like its humble beginnings, where the Marvel movies were becoming a thing, kind of like the evolution, like starting with doesn't really necessarily start with Blade per se, but I think that's when it really kicked into gear is Blade for the Marvel films in general, and before the MCU came into play. So be aware, I don't have that Marvel fatigue, the Marvel Cinematic Universe fatigue, as I would imagine most people do. But I just thought I address it because other than Deadpool and Wolverine, it's been a long time since I saw anything MCU related. Um, did not see anything after Far From Home, and I did not see any of the TV shows. Um, I like I said, I'm gonna try to get on them, but I kind of want to do this little process thing. But in any case, let's get on to the review for Fantastic Four: First Steps. So we have Fantastic Four, the first steps, the fifth attempt to make a good Fantastic Four movie. And after I saw it, um, I will say it's fantastic for the most part. Don't get me wrong; it's really good. I would highly recommend it. Um, there are just some things. Obviously, there was no movie's perfect, but let me explain. I will say I love the style. I love the retro look. It's like the 1960s Fantastic Four. I never read the comics, but I'm familiar with them. The look, um, even some of the cartoons at the time, it looks like it's alive. Um, again, I love the retro look. I've always been a big fan or big sucker for the retro kind of look, feeling it looks new, but it's old tech style. Um, so that's what I really love. I like the scope, the size of it, especially New York when they go to space. They do go to space. The size of Galactus, it's intimidating. Um, so there's a lot of good things. The cast is really good. I will say the biggest standout is Vanessa Kirby as Sue Storm, um, Invisible Woman. I think she's probably the best thing, biggest scene stealer. Well, not scene stealer, but I think she really knocks it out of the park. It's like she saw the past Fantastic Four movies, um, and just said, "I'm going to do it. I'm going to do better. I'm going to really make it my own." And she does it very well. Um, the action's good. The use of CGI is good. Maybe there's a bit over reliance on CGI at times. I kind of maybe we'll explain um, a little bit for one moment. But all in all, I do really enjoy it. I had a good time. There's good. The writing's good. It balances the humor, so it's not like super funny or bad humor from, say, Thor: Love and Thunder that I've heard. I haven't seen Thor: Love and Thunder. Um, but it balances the comedy, and it balances, making it serious, important. And that's Dottie, who, well, shut up. So yeah, there she is. She doesn't like being held like this, but yeah, there she is. So you might hear her throughout the rest of the video. But in any case, yeah. So I'm trying to remember where I was getting on. Oh yeah, but yeah, the action is really good. I like the fact that they start the story. They don't do the whole backstory, like how they got their powers. They just it's kind of Cliff Note version. The intro kind of reminds me a lot like Citizen Kane. If you remember how that intro goes, besides from the Rosebud scene in the beginning, they kind of just mention all the stuff that Citizen Kane has done throughout his life. And this is kind of the same thing. We see them fighting crime. They're being adored by many of the people of New York, which is, I think, a different city. It's a different name city, but it's New York basically. Um, and they have toys, the TV shows, um, but that's the wonderful thing. Of course, we have Galactus, is gonna really test them. Then something that you know, they're not uh, sure if they can beat him. But that's where the biggest test for them is, whether they can save the day. So there's a lot of things to like. And if you're a fan like of Interstellar, really good space shots. I mean, to me, I wasn't a big fan of Interstellar because it's made me kind of queasy. These are great. These are wonderful. Um, I mentioned Galactus was really good. I mean, there's not much to him. He's just intimidating. Uh, Julia Gardner as Silver Surfer this time around. I mean, some will call it gender bend, but this is a different universe, so she is technically the Silver Surfer. Um, and she does very well, though I do admit she kind of looks the look of her. It looks somewhat realistic, but looks CG. So I appreciate the kind of balance. I will admit the way she looks, it kind of reminds me of January Jones in X-Men First Class, and who played Emma Frost. I think that's the actress name. I believe so. Correct me if I'm wrong. In any case, sorry. Um, but there's a lot to like. I will admit that. Now, these are not necessarily cons, or might well, some of them might be, but I think there are some issues that I had that I kind of wish, you know, was better. And this is mostly towards some of the cast members. Like I said, Vanessa Kirby does really well. Pedro Pascal, I know what they're going for, kind of like this sort of emotionless but logic, kind of like a Vulcan in Star Trek. But still, he still shows off emotions, and I can see where it's going. But I'm sorry to compare, or contrast. But I remember Ion Grufford. I hope I'm pronouncing that right. From um, the 2000s Fantastic Four, the both that and the Rise of the Silver Surfer. because he seems a little bit more passionate about, solving things and whatnot. Here he just it's kind of deadpan most of the time, which works, and especially pays off at the end, when he has to show more emotion. Um, but I don't know. I kind of wish there was a little bit more personality to him. That's basically what I'm saying. Then we have Bed Grimm, played by Ebon Moss uh, Baccarin, and I understand where they're going with it. I think he does a good job. Um, but still, again, I got to compare and contrast with Michael Chiklis from Fantastic Four. Not only because the the suit, the way the thing looks is very realistic, and I love the gravelly voice. Even that seems to really fit. This one, he kind of plays like this kind of the straight guy. He's not too angry. He's not too aggressive. He does mess around with Johnny at times, so that's enjoyable. Johnny Storm, but I don't know. And even when he says his catchphrase, like, um, I don't buy it necessarily. I don't know. I feel like he just kind of plays it straight, to the letter, and doesn't really push it hard enough. And I do wish they kept the gravelly voice, or make it the the thing look a tad bit more realistic, even with the CGI. So that's my thought or take. And finally, really quickly, I'm going to do Johnny Storm. I think is a lot better than the previous Johnny Storms. They actually give him more to do in this, and um, I will admit, though, I think he's like my second favorite character in this. But I will say that there's Bart. Um, I will say I don't know why he looks like Ezra Miller if got blonde hair and stuff like that. I don't know why. I think it's kind of funny because that's what he kind of reminds me, Ezra Miller in the Flash, because that's kind of funny. I will say also the sound quality is not always great during action scenes, because I could barely make out what some of the characters are saying during the tense action scenes. I don't know if it's the theater, I don't know if it's the movie, but um, if you experience that too, yeah, it's something went wrong with the sound design. So, um, but all in all, like I said, I think it's a fantastic movie, but I think it would have been more fantastic if it went a little further, but bit better with the cast a little bit. Um, with that said, I would give Fantastic Four: The First Steps 4 stars. Sounds cliche, but there it is. Um, so now I'm gonna put my ticket in the drop box. There we go. And I will see you in the next review.